Good evening. Sorry we're late. We just got carried away with chatting off air and a few technical issues, but we're around that. We're okay. We're sorted now. We're putting the pro into Pro Synth Network. Oh dear, what a week it has been. Episode 151. It is the 24th of February 2023. Welcome one and all. If you're watching live, hello to everyone. If you're watching live and you're not in the chat, get in the chat. It's where all the cool cats hang out. And if you're not watching live, you're watching on catch up, then don't forget you can still like and subscribe and do all of that stuff, which would be really, really useful. And of course, share us around. I was going to say something rude there, but I won't. So do all of that stuff and leave your comments underneath the video and just generally join in and have some fun. If you want to follow us, of course, on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, and of course that's where the main group is, and of course here on YouTube, where I guess most of you are. We do broadcast on Twitter, Facebook, and Twitch as well. Although we don't get huge amounts of people coming there, but we like to cover our bases. You can follow us all in all of those places. At ProSynth Network is our tag. And do come and join us in the Facebook group if you want to, because it's a good place to be. If you have any questions for us throughout the show, stick a big capital Q in the front of it just to make sure that we see it and put it into the appropriate bucket to fish out later, or to answer your questions as we're talking about the various news topics of the week, because we have some, which is good. And so I think on that note, we've only got at the moment myself and Mr. Ben Simpson. Hello. How are you? Yeah, good.
I just got like a weird echo, and it freaked me out a little bit, but no, it's all right.
Good.
False alarm, because I've had a few audio problems before we came on air tonight, and as usual, like it was all my own fault. But we've got to the bottom of it. It's sorted now.
We did, yeah. It was all done in the name of delivering a quality professional show.
Well, I tried to add something extra to what I normally do, and it failed miserably. So I won't bother in future.
Never mind. We've got no Kent at the moment, and we don't know why. Okay, so he might have just fallen asleep. Normally, it's I have him sort of shouting at me virtually through messengers. Oh, we've got a link. Well, I sent him the link in 3 different places this week. All of the usual ones and an extra one too, and no sign of the old fart. So he's either got his head stuck in whatever he's got his head stuck in, which could be anything at the moment. What was the last thing he was doing? He was doing a CS60 mod, wasn't he? Talk of the old bugger. There he is. Look at that.
Ah. Well, thanks everyone for a lovely evening. We've had a great show. And we'll see you all next week.
Bye, everybody.
Did you fall asleep, Grandad?
I've had a hell of a day. Actually.
Have you?
Thank you. Yeah.
Me too.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yes.
We shan't ask. We shan't probe.
Okay. Well,
if you want to.
No, it's official now. I can talk about it.
Go on. Go on. I'm curious.
Soma
Repair Tech UK.
Yay!
Oh,
I think that deserves.
Very good.
Maybe even one of these. There you go. Well done. Oh, excellent. That's good.
You heard it here first.
Does that mean you're going to get that big lump of wood with all the knobs on it?
I'm not saying the word. All I know is that I'm, I don't know anything about Soma stuff. It should be interesting.
Hello, everyone. I'm Soma UK Tech. I don't know anything about it.
Yeah. Just let me check with my records.
Yeah.
Google.
Oh, well done. That's really cool.
Yeah. So that's happened.
If I can afford to buy some Soma stuff, I know where to come now.
Brilliant.
Cool stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, gents, have you had apart from busy weeks, have you all had a good one? Doing anything interesting?
Working like a dog all week. What about you, Ben?
Mine has been mainly studio based, which has been nice. I've been in here a lot, really, and I've had a few new toys to play with, which some of them I can't go into at all, but some of them we will do later on. But yeah, there's some great stuff on the horizon, everybody. It's exciting times.
Indeed, yeah. And we'll hint at what's coming down the line. That will go along with those things. Yeah. God, I hate it. I hate having to be careful.
I know, but it's been great fun. You just want to share it with everyone, don't you? It's like, can't wait for you to enjoy this.
Absolutely. Oh, excuse me. Oh, well, yes. Well, it will all become clear. I feel. Do you guys not want to do these things? The what do they call them? Headlines. See, underneath my name, I've got my website address.
Oh,
so I'll do that because I look like the odd one out. So I'm turning it.
Sorry. Yeah.
I just thought
I did have one, but then I thought, well, everybody knows, don't they? Yeah.
Well, that's true. Yeah. I'll turn it off. It makes it look better. So anyway, gentlemen, we don't have a guest this week, which is fine. I don't mind because we just get to kind of hang and chill and chat stuff with our lovely viewers. Of course, they can please do chip in at any point during the conversation if you have a question, something you want to get off your chest. We'll just kind of more engaging that way. But
you could have got bath sponge out of the cupboard.
Could have done, yeah. But we've got some news to talk. We actually have stuff to talk about. I don't think we're going to, run out of stuff. So don't burn through it. But there's some good stuff to talk about. And then we do have guests coming in. Well, certainly for the next 2 weeks. That's going to be very exciting because those guests are linked to other things that are maybe not yet known. So that will be very interesting. And so stick around and make sure you subscribe and hit that bell to get your notifications if you haven't already done that, because there'll be some cool stuff. And of course, join up at the Facebook page where you'll get the announcements kind of first, really. And all you got to do is just click on the join button, answer 2 or 3 questions to prove that you're a human being, and we'll get you in there. And there you go. That's if you do Facebook, of course. Not everybody does. Anyway, I've had a really stressful week because I'm being not kicked out of my house, but I've been asked to leave. It's not a marital problem.
Not by the missus, no.
It's just one of those kind of landlord tenant things, and they want to sell the house, and I've got to go with it. It's kind of an unfortunate amount of extra stress and hassle. But I don't want to put the kibosh on anything. But things might be about to kind of turn for the positive in terms of where I might be putting my head down to sleep at night, and where all this stuff might end up in a bigger room. Fingers crossed. But it has been a mega stressful week, so I apologise if I am flustered or make more mistakes than normal. It's just that my head is like, I'm thinking about removals, I'm thinking about packing, I'm thinking how am I going to manage lifting all of these synthesizers, storage and all that kind of stuff. But it's all good fun. In other news, look what we've had delivered, everyone. We're really getting with it now. Look at this. We have business cards. Yay.
Wow. Look at them,
so if you're going to Super Booth, do ask us for one, because nobody will probably want them from us. But we thought we'll be a bit professional, so we'll have those with us. We've also got other bits and bobs for various events that we'll hopefully be participating in throughout the year. Right, I think. Oh, look what somebody really nice sent me. Get the light on it. This is a 1998 floppy disk. It's the Yamaha, the official Yamaha FS1R editor and extra voices. Except you need a System 7.5 Mac to run it. Which I've got a virtual version of, but it's just trying to get things in there and connected up. But now I'm having to dismantle everything. It's a pain in the backside. But
do you think there's any benefit to having the actual hardware? Because I've got a few, I've got a few old Macs in the loft, and I really don't know why I'm keeping them. But like, I often like I've been round to somebody's house who had an emulator, and they had like one of the first generation MacBooks
Okay.
running the editor software on that,
Yeah.
and I thought, yeah,
There
that's
is
it.
something about,
Yeah.
especially from an aesthetic point of view, because what was the version of the Mac that was that kind of upright unit with a screen in the top? It kind of looked like a toaster, didn't it? It was.
Oh, the classic.
Is that the classic? I don't know.
Yeah, the first one. Yeah. The first
So-
Mac. Yeah.
Yeah, so one of those with an emulator too.
Yeah.
With that's proper old school. That's what we used to read about in our magazines, and see that, and you think, yeah,
Hang on.
you've got one, haven't you?
I've got two.
You've got two. Jesus.
Hang on, I've got two.
Okay. He's off. I've got a Windows. I've got a Windows laptop. Yeah, he's just going to fumble. I've got an old Windows laptop that I use with 98 on it that seems to communicate with all the old stuff that I need it to communicate with, like the Emaxes and stuff like that. Or I run a virtual machine, like with my S6000, I run a VM and it does everything for us. But yeah, I don't know about keeping old computers. I've got the CX5M, but that's had to get boxed up. And here you go on.
Yeah.
That's the one. That's it.
That's the well, it's the SE30. This was the best one of these they ever made.
Yeah.
By today's standards, it's shit. But
Well, yeah.
yeah, but back then it was really good. It's quite
Yeah,
powerful compared to the others. But
I was expecting to see Marty McFly running out of the room just then.
but I've got the original like Model 1 version,
Oh, yeah.
from 1984.
Wow.
I've got that upstairs, and it works great. And if you're just using the software that came with it's perfect.
Yeah,
It runs at a perfectly acceptable speed.
Yeah.
So when you try and do anything a bit more advanced on it, it
That's it. Yeah.
dies a death. But yeah, I like that. But I was just thinking, all these emulators, you could just run the software that you need on them and keep it all in one central location. But
Yeah. Well, I found a few Mac emulator apps and a location where you can download the ROMs, and then you then go and find the OS and you install the OS. And it's kind of like a virtual machine, not quite the same, but it's kind of like a virtual machine. And I was hoping to spend some time dicking around with that for a while, but other important things have kind of taken precedence, so I'll have to put that on the back burner. But yeah. But that is to say, I mean, I was talking to, this was a colleague from Gear News that sent me this, and he said, "Oh, yeah, I've got one of those in the back. I'll send it to you." But the thing is, there are modern day editors that run in the latest versions of things that
Yeah.
probably do way more better. It looks better and it works faster. But
Yeah,
it's
but
nice. It's the history, isn't it?
that's how it was
Yeah.
at the time, isn't it?
That's it. Well, let's bring everything back to 2023, and
Okay.
let's talk about some news. I guess the biggest news this week in terms of hardware has got to be this. I'm going to play this video. It's not the greatest thing in the world, but it gives you an idea of what this is about. This is from Roland. Roland have announced a new piece of hardware, and it's called the SH-4D. Play, God damn you. There we go. There you go. Yeah, the synthesizer SH-4D came out, or was announced, should I say, this week, and it looks a tidy bit of kit. Apparently, it's not completely Zen Core. it is a section of Zencore. Now, Mark Barnes was actually talking about this. Our friend Marky Barnes up in Scotland was saying that Zencore itself is like really quite deep and sometimes impenetrable in terms of the amount of stuff that you can do, and getting to it is quite difficult. And what he thinks this is a simplification of that, just to allow you to get to all the key stuff that you really want to get to really, really quickly. And it's not a groove box, as a lot of people are saying. Roland are billing it as a desktop synthesizer that you can do arpeggiations. You can't pattern chain and sequence chain on this thing. Apparently it's just lots of arpeggios and just bits and bobs that you just loop around. Great apparently for hardware jams and all that kind of stuff. Doesn't sound bad either, let's be honest. Just a bit of a dodgy promotional video. I'm not sure. Don't know if you need some person that you've probably never heard of. Well, certainly I haven't. It reminded me a little bit of the Scott Storch one that he did for the MPK through the MPC keys thing. It just looked a little bit like forced. Anyway, forget that. The synthesizer, it looks quite good, and it's got. Oh, I've got to say, it's got D motion. No D beams on this. It's got D motion. Do you know how D motion works?
I do. Yeah.
You pick it up.
Yeah.
And you move it.
I think that's
odd. If you ask me, that's really odd. That's asking for it.
I feel a little bit embarrassed saying this, but I used to do a thing at gigs, right? I don't know why. When you're trying to develop a style and make make a statement. And I used to do this thing where I used to pick the ends of the keyboards up. So I'd be soloing and stuff, and the end of the keyboard would be up here. I don't know why I was doing it. It was stupid. And then I'd put it down. Right. In a really bizarre way, I can understand that motion detection being there. So you can do this, lifting the keyboard up and changing the sound with it if you wanted to. But on a desktop unit, it makes even less sense. I mean, that's ridiculous, me doing that, but on a desktop unit, why? Why are you going to suddenly want to start flipping it around?
Because you're going to have cables connected. I mean, at the very least, a stereo out and a power cable. You might have a pair of MIDIs.
What would have made more sense is having that as a Wi-Fi app from your phone. So you've got the unit there, and then you can move your phone about to get all those modules. It doesn't make any sense picking the unit up and moving it around.
Good thinking. Yeah, no, that would have been. It does say it's asking for people to do that. Go, oh shit, and then there it goes.
Yeah,
and it's off. Yeah,
it's one of the most bizarre. I think the thing's great, but I think that's Roland have always the D beam, for instance, is a bit of a bonkers idea, and. Yeah, the continuing the tradition with this demotion thing in my eyes anyway.
Yeah, it's odd. What do you reckon, Kemp?
Oh, it's another desktop, says the guy who's just started working for a company making desktops. I think it's not my bag. I think that's the expression they give, but it sounds cool and everything else. I see it has a TR-808 built into it. My surprised face. It's going to be good for doing things like the EMOMs and stuff like that. It looks light.
It's not big. It's not as big as I thought it would be. Certainly when I saw somebody's hand next, I thought, oh, it's quite a bit small.
Quite a dinky little thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, it's going to suit a lot of people, and there's a lot of people who are going to go, nah, no thanks, mate.
Yeah.
Like everything else that's ever come out, I suppose.
What I like about it, and sort of looking at the screen here, it's got a lot of tactility, if that's the word.
Yeah. I like the way it's got a keyboard built into it, be it buttons.
Yeah.
But at least you can sit in the shed on your own.
That's it, and you've got
crying,
the 16.
But
yeah,
you can play something.
Yeah. You can sort of take this as a standalone thing, can't you? And,
exactly so.
And you've got good old fashioned knobs for everything, and some nice faders. it looks like a solid thing, but yeah, it's. I think it's definitely up there with the hardware jammers. I think that'll be their thing, won't it?
Definitely.
What's it got?
I'm surprised it hasn't got the little clips on the side for a shoulder strap.
Oh yeah.
That would have been if it, if moving it makes it do things. Like
Yeah.
Prophet 5s used to do that, and it wasn't supposed to.
Yeah, exactly.
So they've turned a fault into a feature. So congratulations there, Roland.
Yeah, I mean, so it's a nice size. It's not too big. It's not too small. I mean, you see it on that guy's lap there. It is lap size, which would make it great for doing EMOMs and those kind of hardware jams.
Well, it's got good polyphony.
Yeah,
Multi-tracks up.
yeah, nice,
Yeah.
fairly nice little screen on there. Nice and clear. That seems to be the way these days. Looks very nice, but yeah, it's just that motion thing. It's scary. I mean, I don't know. Guess it might make some work come your way.
Well, the thing is, because you think, okay, right, so if you move it, it does stuff, whatever that may be, or whether it's assignable even. But what happens is that musicians are clever buggers, and some guy is going to find some performance trick to do with that on stage, and then everybody will be doing it,
But to take your idea a little step further, if you had a keytar with demotion in, then you could safely do what Ben was doing. So when you're playing your mad lead and you do that whole guitar thing of going like this, as you did that, it could open up the filter or whatever, but it's safely strapped around your neck. With this thing, it's just like you're picking it up in a dark club or whatever, and you're sort of moving it around. What happens if you hit the wrong button? What happens if you pop the power out? What happens if you break a connection or you drop it's
Yeah, and also there's the other aspect, of course, is that it depends on what these motions are to make it do certain things. You could end up looking like a complete dick.
There is that.
Even though what you're playing is really cool. So, Tom will tell.
I was managing that without this. I was doing that before
All I had
this
to do
came
was
out.
I just had to stand on the stage with a keyboard, and that was it. Total dick. Right there. Without trying.
Well, prove us wrong, people. Go out and buy an SH-4D and then just
shake
show
that
us.
booty.
Shake it. Yeah.
Yeah, shake it, babes.
You know what I find weird is this. I don't know what font it is. It's like Data 70 or something that they use as the font for the SH stuff. They keep reverting back to that. It's made a reappearance quite a few times. It was the SH 909 or something. It's some like groove box thing that had that font on it. I can't remember what it was called.
SH32.
That was it. And it's come out a few times, but I reckon the most successful SH has got to be the SH101. And that didn't have that.
No,
so why don't they replicate the SH101 font every time they...
I think maybe it's just because that font is so associated with the classic vintage Roland, whereas the 101, whilst it's a revered little thing, it not so much these days, I guess. I don't know. Who knows? They did use it on the SH-01, didn't they? The little boutique unit. They used the same font on that. And when Behringer dared to use the same font on their MS-101, they got wrist slapped and had to change it.
Mind you, if they did that, it would automatically give the impression of being a callback clone.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think a lot of companies are done with that whole concept. I know, I'm fed up with it.
Well, I mean, this is. Roland, we always bring up? Roland said they would not chase analog ghosts, but we use the same fonts as our classic analog synthesizers, and the same naming conventions. But look, it's nice. I don't just go on. Sorry.
I was just going to say, I don't think there's enough profit in analog for Roland. I think everything's got to be manufactured as cheaply as possible.
Oh, yeah, box shifters. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'd be interested to see if there's a Roland Cloud version of this down the line, because if it is using Zencore technology, then it should be doable. It's a software machine. There's nothing, hardware, analog stuff going on in there. It's all VAs and other bits and bobs. But it's nice. I mean, I was talking to our guy at Gear News, who's had one for a while now, has done the review over at gearnews.com, and he really, really rates it and really likes it, and he knows his onions. So,
I think it looks like a great little unit, but I'm just bemused by that D motion.
Yeah, that's gonna provide some either amazing video footage or some hilarious video footage.
This might be like a turning point in music technology where everything starts being where you can pick it up and move it. But I wouldn't fancy doing that with this TF5 mixer or a CS80.
Yeah, pick up the DX1.
Yeah. D motion retrofit.
The testicles flying up into the wings.
We'll have keyboard stands on gimbals next, won't we, to do all of that, so we don't have to pick them up.
Yeah. Oh, well. Yeah. I see. I was trailblazing back then.
Yeah, that's it. They clearly watched an Electromantics, YouTube video.
Oh no, this is well before Electromantics.
Oh, it was well before.
God, I wouldn't do anything
video.
like that now. Far too much effort there.
It was well before the motion picture.
I just got to stand there looking miserable now in true 80s fashion.
Exactly. Yeah. $599 is the price, which again I don't think is wholly unreasonable for something of this caliber.
It's all right.
So it's a fairly decent price.
Yeah. Good
bit
of kit. Looks like.
Synthesizer SH-4D, the new desktop synth from Roland, should be available now from all good music outlets and maybe some bad ones as well.
And my first thought when I saw this was that it was one of the boutique range, but it's not, is it? It's a completely different form factor. I don't know if you covered that when I disappeared. Sorry.
No, it's not. It's bigger than the boutique. There's actually it's interesting because somebody did point out that I think it's too small to have rack ears fitted. Certainly, you'd have to get big ears.
Yeah.
But then if you rack mounted it, how would you do your demotion? So
just pick the whole rack up. It'd be fine. Just do that. Yeah.
Just shove it on it.
Yeah.
Make a noise.
Give it a good booting.
There you go. Anyway,
then it would be demoted, wouldn't
it? SH-4D is available now. $599 UK, I think, in euros. So an interesting addition and quite a nice thing. It's at least it wasn't something rather naff and cheesy. Oh, there's there's an SH-101 model in there, and is it a Juno model as well? I'm not sure which one. I can't remember.
Oh, right, yeah.
So yeah, you've got plenty of stuff to muck around with. Yeah, good little thing there.
What's the polyphony on it?
That's 60.
Yeah,
60, 64 something.
Yeah, it's comprehensive. Where's the specs? Here we go.
It's when you start getting into layers and stuff like that, though, it goes down rapid, doesn't it?
Cut it down a bit,
yeah. 60 voices that varies according to sound generator load. You've got SH-101 oscillator models, Juno 106 oscillator models. There's a Cross FM, which is like a 2-operator FM thing. There's Ring, Wavetable, Chord, Drawing, PCM and Rhythm, SH-3D, SH-4D, Sync, multi-timbral, of course, 4 parts plus 1 rhythm, loads of effects in there, lots of arpeggiations, and a 5-part 64-step sequencer, and all the connectivity you could shake a stick at.
I reckon the 4D is like a play on words with the motion stuff, isn't it?
That could be. Yeah.
Those 4D patches, or that 4D mode will enable this gyroscopic thing, and the 3D will just be the same thing without, I reckon, maybe.
Yeah. Who knows? Who knows? But anyway, nice to see something new from Roland.
Throw it down the stairs and write a brilliant track.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I reckon somebody will do that. They'll wrap it up in, something, and then they'll just throw it around and hit record and see what it comes up with.
Yeah. Strap it to your backside.
Whole new way of making music.
Yeah.
On a horse. Off you go, boy.
Dear, oh dear.
Let me know when the album's finished.
Like to say thank you to, first of all, Wagyu for 10s. It's just D-beams forever. And also to Cherry Audio's Robert, who does all their wonderful marketing, really good marketing. Penalty tax for missing shows of the past few weeks. Thank you very much. Duly accepted. You are forgiven. So there we go. A couple of donations. If you want to donate yourself, then you can do that by clicking the super chat or super stickers in the YouTube chat. There is a donation link down below if you want to send us a few quid to keep us going. Of course, if you don't want to keep us going, don't send us anything. But hey, you guys keep paying. We just keep doing. We keep turning up. Takes a lot to get rid of. I think even if we didn't get paid, we'd probably still do this. I shouldn't say that, though, should I? Right. Okay.
I don't.
Let's see what else we've got. Have we got any more hardware? Oh yes, there was a bit of hardware.
Oh, we say now.
Lovely.
Yes.
I say hardware.
It's hardware, but it doesn't actually exist yet. So three guesses who we're talking about.
Uh-huh.
Hey, this is the news that Behringer have teased yet another piece of hardware before they've made any other pieces of hardware that they've been promising to make, and it's just another pie in the sky thing. But this is the announcement that Roland. Well, I say an announcement. It was just a post they put up on their Facebook page, which is what constitutes a Behringer announcement these days. That they came up with this concept whilst building their Jupiter clone, knockoff, facsimile, whatever you want to call it, and they thought that maybe people would want something like this, which is a single Jupiter voice in a box. In their kind of desktop format, which can be then removed and then put into a Eurorack case. So one assumes it would come with the connecting cables as their other stuff does. But it's a single Jupiter voice, but it's a paraphonic version of that. Looks the part. Certainly does more than look like a Jupiter paint job. But it is just a single voice. Nothing more is known about this other than the images that they shared, which of course was there was the top end and there was the back panel shot as well, which just showed a USB and a MIDI and their dip switches for choosing the channels and an audio output. And then of course on the top you've got the clock, CV gate, bits and bobs on there. Do people want a single voice or single Jupiter voice in a box? Is the question.
I wouldn't have thought so.
I think there's probably more chance of having your diseased hemorrhoids removed, twisted into some bizarre balloon animal and handed back to you than that. But that's just me.
Oh dear. Yes.
Yeah. I don't know. The
It's
whole
paraphonic
point
as well. It's like, what?
Yeah,
What are you thinking, boys?
with one voice. It's the whole point of a Jupiter 8 is that it's polyphonic. That is the whole point of it.
Kinda.
It's like a monophonic CS80. There's like no need.
You say that though, but didn't Black Corporation do the
They
single?
did.
They did the single
yeah,
voice. Didn't
yeah. Well, maybe, but I, it's not right. It's not right.
I wish that they. I wish they would stop doing this.
Yeah.
And just put something out.
Yeah,
because
they're all bored because they've got no chips to actually make anything. So they keep making these cases. They keep
everyone else.
They're supposed to have their own chips, aren't they?
I know. Yeah. Oh,
I don't know why nothing's coming out. Is it just going to be? They're going to destroy their own market if they release it all at the same time because everybody's only going to buy one instead of them all.
I mean, I put this up on Gear News, and the comments were mostly, "Can't wait to give it a whirl in 2046." What was the other one? Oh yes, they have 30 announcements that are under development. Might be a good idea that they start to actually ship something before making any more noise about upcoming products. absolutely fair point.
Admittedly, it would have been funnier if he said, "Can't wait to try it out in 3046."
Yeah,
because that's the VCOs they use.
That deserves a
yeah.
There we
Good
go.
one, that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Try
Try
to
I wonder what 8 of those would sound like compared to a real Jupiter 8. Like some sort of polychaining thing. Yeah, I think you can do that. Couldn't you? You would be able to do that. Yeah.
I suppose it'd sound like some sort of bizarre string synth, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It's odd. I mean, it's an odd thing, but they're throwing this stuff out there, and we, or people, lap it up. It's an interesting thing. I just couldn't see the point of a single Jupiter voice. I've never ever heard anybody say to me, "Oh God, I wish I could have a monophonic Jupiter."
Yeah.
I wish I could make my Jupiter 8 sound like a Selena.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, the whole point of the Jupiters was polyphony.
Yeah.
468, brilliant, amazing synths. Why would you want a single voice? It's not like the Jupiters were known. It's not. Nobody says, "Oh, did you hear that wicked bass line that was done on the Jupiter?" Nobody talks about the wicked bass lines that were made on Jupiter 8s. And I bet somebody in the chat
today.
Did you?
Conversation today with Tiny. We were saying about, you could put somebody's record, something nobody's heard before, clearly, but just put a record on, and it could have a Jupiter 8 on it, and I guarantee you, nobody in the room will recognise that there's a Jupiter 8 on it.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
It's that kind of synth where, wow, yeah, but you wouldn't know unless it fell out of a bloody tree on you.
Yeah, but there you go. It's Behringer. Nobody really knows. Robert from Cherry Oil says, "Was the bass line in Thriller a Jupiter 8?" No, it was. Jupiter 8 did a lot of the chords.
Yeah.
But the bass line in Thriller, I only know this for a fact because I've been watching this wonderful series on YouTube, Stories from the Room, which is all about the making of Thriller. And everybody thought that the bass line on Thriller was a Mini Moog, but it wasn't. It's an ARP 2600.
2600, yeah.
And when they show you that, you go, "Oh, of course it was," because even Greg Fillinganes, he was like, "I'm sure that was a Mini Moog," and the guy said, "No, it was ARP 26. Let me show you." And he dials up the sound. You go, "There it is. That's the one." So yeah, bass line in Thriller is an ARP 2600.
It's a good bass sound, that as well.
Yeah, very good. And I kind of followed his thing. I tried to do it on my Arturio, and kind of got pretty close. And it's that I don't know it's the filter on it. It just makes it really very nice.
I'll have to
But yeah,
take
if
that away tomorrow, I've got a 2600 in the toilet. I'll take it out and have a go.
as long as you don't
You've got everything in the toilet. You have.
Oh dear.
I only put it in there today. So.
But yeah, if anybody hasn't already checked this out, it's called Stories in the Room. It's on YouTube. Just Google it.
Cool.
And it's a really good. They had our friend Steve Picaro. I like saying that. Our friend Steve Picaro, telling his story, of course, about human nature, because he played and on other bits and bobs. In fact, I don't think there was. I think Jeff Picaro did a lot of the drums on Thriller. Steve obviously did a lot of keyboards. Luke did a bunch of the guitars and stuff. Rick Beato did an interview with Steve Lukather recently where he talked about him and Eddie Van Halen doing the guitars on Beat It. It's really great if you're into your guitars. It's very, very good. I like Steve Lukather. I'd love to get him on the show. Even though he's a guitarist, I'd love to get him on. Maybe we should do a Toto reunion.
Over my dead body.
Yeah.
Nah.
What's this guitar thing you speak of? Are they the big wood things?
Big wood things with strings.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know. I've seen them.
It's the weapon of choice of many idiots.
He said that, not me. He said that.
It's a joke. It's a joke. I've got some great friends who know guitarists. I have.
Really? And they
bring it slightly back on topic.
Yeah.
Did you know that the bass line in not only was it made on a 2600, but do you know where the rhythm pattern comes from for the bass line and why? In Thriller, this is, by the way. Anyone? Bueller? What's that?
Everybody
Conga. Everybody conga. It's the conga.
Yeah.
And apparently, and I heard this from Dave Spears, Rod Temperton, who was from Grimsby or somewhere around
famous Congo area.
Yeah, famous.
Yeah.
But Rod Temperton, who wrote that track, said he wanted to make the greatest dance record of all time. And he said, what's the biggest song that gets everybody on the dance floor? And it was the conga. So that's how he came up with that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's the conga.
Oh, that's good.
Okay.
Actually learned something tonight.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
There is a video on my personal YouTube channel where I explained that. I took Dave's stories. I thought it was brilliant, and just did a little demonstration of it. So it's very clever. There you go.
Very
Anyway,
nice. Yeah.
so Behringer JT2. If you go to their Facebook page and find the picture of the JT2, you can say whether you like it or not. They're just wanting a response. I think all it is just like engagement. Let's get some more engagement on the page. And let's get people talking about us again. And then we'll go away and then we'll come up with another idea.
Out of all the things that they've announced recently, I think this might be the one that doesn't see the light of day. I'd be very surprised if...
Weren't they threatening to make a single voice Jupiter in one of those little tiny desktop?
Oh,
the little things.
Yeah, they were, yeah.
Whatever happened to those?
I don't think they were monophonic. I think they might have actually been polyphonic.
Oh, right. Because there was a Prophet VS one as well, and or their version of it.
It was like low polyphony. It was like, three voice, something bizarre.
I've actually probably forgotten more Behringer announcements than I care to remember, because
yeah, those little boxes seem quite the VS one, like really odd.
Yeah.
Had a joystick though.
Yeah, but Behringer announcements, I mean, you just scoop them up and put them in the bag with the rest of the dog crap, don't you?
Say what you think, Kent. Say what you think.
I'm in that kind of a mood today. And the night is young.
Oh dear, he hasn't even started.
Brilliant.
Anyway.
Let's go.
So yeah, there you go. Behringer JT2. If you go to their Facebook page and engage with them there over there and tell them whether you want it or not. We'll wait until it actually appears, and then we'll be maybe a bit more serious about it. I'm sure they don't care what we think anyway.
No, they probably don't even know about us.
No,
it's fine.
No, indeed. Right. Let's see. What else have we got here? I guess I'll leave that one to the end because that'll be a talking point. How about we look at a bit of software that is free that anybody can have? I had no idea about this, and I can't remember where I got the link from. But I've been speaking with the developer about this because it's very interesting, and it's free. It's called MS2, and it's made in Canada, of all places. Here's the video demo for you to just get your ears around. He says, there we go. It's coming, so it's actually out now. So let me just bring us back in. There we go. So this is MS2. It's by an organisation, or a company, or whatever you want to call them, called Menzler. They're out of Canada. It's a 3-operator FM synthesizer, all in software. And it's completely free of charge at the moment. It's in a beta stage. It's version 1.3. In fact, that was updated about 2 or 3 days ago. I haven't done that yet. But it's available on Windows as a VST, or Mac as an audio unit. And you can make a donation to Angelo, who's the guy that's been developing this. It has quite a small interface, and that's my only... I don't want to say it's a complaint, but with my eyes on a big 27-inch screen, I was really struggling for a while. But what you heard in that demo was just the plugin, and so it's got a whole bunch of effects in there as well. Multiple waveforms per operator. You can mess. It's got each operator has got its own envelope and harmonic multipliers and phase shifters and panning, all sorts of stuff. And then you've got 3 of those. Then there's a filter and an LFO, modulation matrix. You can route the operators in quite an extensive way and apply feedback to more than just one of them. Distortion, delay, and reverb also in there. Lots of macro functionality if you really want to get into it. And it's so it's polyphonic. And sounds, I thought, sounded really good.
That's what I was going to say about it. I haven't tried it because the Mac version's only an audio unit, and Cubase doesn't accept audio units, so I'd have to go. No, it's I suppose just VSTs. Yeah,
I suppose that's why Logic that doesn't use VSTs, it only uses
Yeah. So I can't try it at the minute without booting Logic up, and I haven't done that in quite some time, and I'm scared of all the updates and everything. But it sounds really great, and the interface, even though it's like really basic, it goes with it complements the sound that comes out of it. It looks like it sounds somehow, because it's got a digital, gritty but fat sound. It sounds great to me. Really interested in using it, but I just have to keep my fingers crossed that they'll make a Mac VST version.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have thought that was that difficult if they've already got a VST version. It was just
I'm sure there's ways
conversion, isn't it?
Yeah, compiling it.
Yeah,
but I was again, I was impressed that it was free. I was impressed that it sounded as good as it did for something that was free. And also, I was very impressed with the support. I mean, say it's just one person doing this, and it says at the bottom of the web page. Let me just add this web page onto the screen. Here we go. So at the towards the bottom of the web page, you can make a donation. If you make a donation, it doesn't have to be of any specific amount, minimum or maximum. They send you a preset bank of about 50 odd sounds, which is just a nice thing to start playing around and seeing what it can do. And because it's just one person doing this, you don't expect any kind of slick installers. It's like you've got to drop the presets manually into the presets folder and all this kind of thing. And I had a little bit of a problem, and I emailed the guy and thinking I'll probably hear back in a day or two. About 30 minutes later, get a response. Oh no, try this. So I tried that. I said no, it still doesn't work. Sent him a couple of screenshots. Turns out because he was sharing his stuff via Google Drive, and the presets are they come in that typical format where it's like preset name .au preset, which is the file the file extension. And for some reason, Google Drive was then adding .xml onto the end of that. So obviously the instrument was looking for .au preset files and was actually finding .xml files and going, I can't see.
And what was the find or hide in that extension or something?
No,
because it does do that, doesn't it?
Yeah, but it was showing the XML extension on my desktop, but it wasn't showing it in Google Drive. But when you downloaded the presets from Google Drive, it must have just, for some reason, added that extension on there. So he then sent it to me via WeTransfer, and it was absolutely fine. Dropped them in, boom, there it was. It was all working.
Right, yeah.
So, and of course, the other thing we haven't mentioned is the fact that there was in that video. Let me just play it here. I'll mute the audio. But if you notice that there's this kind of graphical display in there as well, which to me serves no real purpose. It's not something you can interact with, but looks pretty. I like that kind of thing, and it kind of gives you an idea. There's one patch, one of the preset patches is called 96, and I thought, I wonder why it's called 96, and I pressed a note, and it basically drew the number 96 in that little box. It was very cool. But yeah, other than the fact that it's a fairly small interface, and I'd like to see something bigger purely because I'm losing my vision. What a cool little free preset. Plugin. Ken,
Yeah.
I mean, I know this isn't kind of up your street, but any thoughts on this?
Well, I like the sound of this.
It does sound nice.
Yeah. But in famous words, we are so starved of Technicolor. When you've got a little plugin like that and it looks busy, yeah, well, even 8 colours. I mean, come on, boy. Yeah, let's get this going, right? It's a little bit too black and white.
No, yeah.
It's because you stare at that for 5 minutes doing a preset, and you look at the wall, and you can still see it. You look at the color, you can still see it. So yeah, it's a little hard on the eyes for us old fogies.
Indeed.
But yeah, it sounded nice. I liked it a lot. And it's you can't knock 3.
You can't.
Although I strongly suggest that at least bung them a tenner, for God's sake.
Yeah, bung 'em a
don't be
few
tight
quid.
bastards.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you get
it's well worth it.
Yeah, and you get a bunch of presets to play around with and reverse engineer and kind of see what's going on. It's always a good way to learn.
This
how
is a guy
things
who's been spending many an evening on his own coding away.
Yeah.
So show a bit of love.
And if you get some appreciation back, like financially, that from the likes of us, it's gonna, it might spur him on to continue developing and keep it going. So we benefit from this,
Absolutely. I mean, since I downloaded it, it's already gone up to version 1, beta version 1.3, and that was updated just a few days ago. So it's being tweaked and developed, and hopefully, once if things like this get some momentum, get some backing, then like you say, it provides him with the impetus to go off and do something better. Maybe spend a bit more time, because at the end of the day, it's a synth. It's supposed to make sounds, and that's what you focus on. Then you kind of focus on the user interface and making that maybe nicer. So maybe just make it bigger. Maybe throw a few colours in there to separate some bits and bobs. But go for it. I'd like to know what Manny thinks of this. I don't know, Manny, if you. I know he's in the chat, but I'd love to get your thoughts and feedback on what you think of this, being the FM genius that he is.
Well, while you're waiting for that, I was always under the impression that the more operators, the fatter the sound would be. This is only a 3 operator thing, and it sounds really beefy.
It's surprising. I've heard some stuff with 2 operator FM that sounds fantastic. That you know.
Right.
So it's the more ingredients you have, the more I'm sure you can come up with. But a good chef can come up with something amazing. With not very much. Is the reasoning I have there. But go and get it. And I think the guys have posted the link in the chat, and of course it will appear down below in the show notes later on. I have to hold my hands up, by the way, people. I have been rather busy, and I don't think I've done a lot of chaptering recently, so I need to get back in the game on that one. So if you look out for those things, I apologise, but they're always in the chat. And of course, you can hit us up on the Facebook page if you want some of the information putting on there. Right, that's MS2. So we've got about an hour to go. That's okay. We've got a couple of topics, and then we've got a discussion thing. So let's see what we can do there. What should we do next? Well, let's do this.
Manny replied to that in the chat. I just thought I'd highlight that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'd love to
and
know.
he
what you think
reckons
about
that ops are only somewhat important.
Yeah.
And there you go. The link's in the chat as well. So that's where you need to go. And say, do bung Angelo a few quid and tell him that you saw us here. Because I think it's all done through PayPal, so you can leave.
He might send us a free one.
He might. Clever thinking.
Cool. Yeah.
So Let's move on swiftly. So, if you were around at the start of the show, you'll realise that we were just a few minutes late, and the reason we were a few minutes late was because Ben was trying to set himself. He was trying to be professional and set us up with
obviously failed
a demonstration of this next thing. Let's play the video first, and then we'll talk about it. And then I've got it up and running here, so maybe Ben can then sort of like guide me like Ratatouille and make me do stuff.
Yeah.
Right, so this is new from UVI. They're always quite brief, the UVI videos, but essentially this is their new library. It's called Percussion Factory. It's available now, and it's you can get it direct from everyone at UVI. It would help if I had the right thing up. There we go. So it's €99, which is currently a discount from $149. And it is exactly what it says on the tin. It's a percussion library, but it's got a huge amount of sounds, but also this really complex way of being able to mess around with them. So as you can see, you've got 8 parts, and you can change the instruments in that part. You can change the amount of steps in that part, and they can work independently of each other. So as you can see here, you've got some with 8 steps, some with 3 steps, some with 16 steps, and so on and so forth. You can mix and match and get all polyrhythmic going on in there. And then, of course, there's effects and arpeggiators. There's keyboard control, so you can play the loop just by pressing one key, or you can play each individual instrument on its own. So, in fact, it might be easier if I just brought up the actual interface itself whilst Ben prepares to tell us what he thinks.
Right.
Of
okay.
it.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty comprehensive as a percussion thing. The interface is really nice, I think. I think they've done a cracking job there. But for somebody like I produce electronic music, and for me, this is a little bit soundtracky world music. It doesn't sit. It wasn't sitting right for me in anything electronic that I did. It just sounded like there was some sort of like percussion unit practicing next door. It didn't sound right. And you've got quite a lot of sound options within there. I think it was something like 1,000 or something like that.
Yeah,
samples that you can
loads
pick
of
from.
stuff going on.
But yeah, the potential with it is just fantastic. If you go back to that main screen, what you've got here is those instruments laid out there, and it always has the same format. But some might have less instruments in it, and some might, like only have like 2 instruments in it. And when you like Rob's showing you there, when you click on them, you can change the instruments, and you can get some quite dramatic differences just by changing the instruments that's involved. What's really clever about it, I think, is if you pick an instrument here, you could completely change. Like that might be like a kind of shaker instrument, but you could change it to a wood instrument or a metal instrument, get a completely different feel. But in the programming, in the edit page there, just come out of that, Rob, and go into the edit, you'll see you've got these lanes that go across. Each one represents an instrument, as you'd expect. You can see that the bottom one there, that's only got 3 steps in it, so it's gonna work polyrhythmically with the others, and there's one up above that's only got like 8 steps in it, which obviously won't work polyrhythmically, but we'll repeat half time. Yeah. What I really liked about this is if you see at the end of those columns there, you've got like the graph kind of step input thing, or you've got a randomize function as well.
How do I get back?
Do you just click that thing again, that blue thing?
Well, oh yes, there you go.
Yeah,
there you go. Yeah,
right. So you got the like random. That magic wand thing is like a randomizer, but it isn't like a stupid randomizer. It doesn't just put anything anywhere. It's based on the instrument that you got selected, so it'll randomize it, but with things that only work with that instrument. You won't get something that'll sound ridiculous, and that is really quite impressive. Really, it does sound right.
It's easy to kind of get lost in it, isn't it?
Yeah, and then if you go back to the main page again, I can't see the controls because of us.
Oh, well.
But yeah, right. So this circular representation is just a different way of displaying what we had on the other screen, on the edit screen. But you get these controls down at the bottom, so you've got steps, intensity, decimate, tone, room, and swing. Now some of them are kind of, they do what they say, you know. Tone does what it says, swing does what it says. Decimate's really interesting because the way I've come to think of this is that the rhythm that you play when you hit that C4, whatever it is that's red there, that's the complete rhythm, that's everything.
Yeah.
And then the other options are variations of that, like you know, like the individual elements and what have you. But what's really good is I think of that rhythm that you just heard then as the full rhythm. That is when you're coming to the end of your song and everything's going hell for leather. That's that rhythm that you've got there. And earlier on in the track, you would use the decimate control to reduce that. So you turn the decimate up to like 80%.
Yeah.
And you'll get the same rhythm, but loads of a really simple version of it. So it's not the same rhythm. It's the same instruments playing a simpler version that is in the same style. So it's not like it's an intelligent decimator. So
it's doing too much at once here.
Yeah. So that could be your verse.
Yeah.
And then you'd automate this to include more as you get into your bridge, and then your chorus has got loads going on in it. That kind of idea.
Yeah.
And obviously you can program your own things as well.
You would assume that a decimate function would be something like a bit crushing thing, but you wouldn't want to bit crush your, well, maybe you would want to, I don't know, but no, that's clever because it like you say, it allows you to have the same rhythm but just phrase it differently.
Well, you can combine that with the steps and the intensity to just get completely different stuff out the pattern that you've got loaded up. It's quite good. I don't think it's for me. I can't see me. It's part of that Sonic Pass that I subscribe to, so I've got it anyway. But there's other things in there that you know that fit what I do better. A similar thing, more electronic based percussion really for me. But it's great for somebody who's doing soundtrack stuff. There'd be there is like there's a modern section in the presets that's slightly more usable, and a process section as well, but a lot of it is, you know, like African and Asian rhythms and stuff like that.
I mean, there's, as always with this stuff, there's a ton of presets to just get you kind of going, but it's very simple to. I think we all know what that's alluding to, even just by the patch name. Please allow me to introduce myself. We don't want to get a copyright strike. So you can also randomize the entire thing, can't you, just from the top there, and you can lock things down to make sure things don't get messed around. And the effects are UVI's. I guess their reverb is based on their spark verb and so on. So it's really good quality stuff. But I'll tell you what, we talked about this off air. The interface, this thing of shapes and this kind of rotational thing, reminded me a lot of Propeller Head, or now known as Reason Studios, figure app that they did on iPad and iPhone, where it's only 4 tracks, but you could adjust the number of steps in this ever rotating thing, and so you could do polyrhythms and stuff. It was very clever, but this obviously really sort of breaks it out into much more. And as you can see on the bottom there, so because I've only got a small keyboard here, so I'm going to have to use the transpose. So you've got this one button here which is marked by the red key, which is just there. So when you press that, it just plays the entire pattern. Then you've got all these blue keys, down the bottom here. Here. So it just plays one individual part on its own, or you can play, so you can have that kind of manual control, just bringing in, so it's like an instant start. And then down here you have just one shots. So if you just like the samples, and you just single shots down there, so the flexibility is there. You're not sort of locked into developing patterns and so on and so forth. But yeah, this and it's also worth mentioning that these these stepped arpeggiators here, you just go in and you draw in. You can actually just just draw in the velocity layers yourself, and it's all, where are we? So you can do it completely manually, or let the stuff do its thing itself. It's a really useful tool if this is what you want. Yeah. Then this really is. Maybe it's not up everybody's street, but
it's funny. There's not that many percussion options out there, and
no.
And when I was using this, I was thinking, why aren't there more of these? Because it is a really useful thing.
Yeah, as you can see, there's loads of some of these I've never heard of.
Yeah.
Couldn't even tell you what they are. Even cricket's in there. But yeah, it's just so much in there. And then there's different play modes for each of those things. You can pick, finger slides, open palms, closed palms, slaps, and
it does make quite a bit of difference as well. Like just the play mode on one sound, it sounds radically different in some cases.
Yeah. No, it's good. I like it. What do you reckon, Kent? Any fans over there at Spong Arms?
Just downloaded it, installed it, registered it.
So is that the seal of approval?
I'll have to watch this bit back again later, because I was getting the bugger on there. Yeah. No, I like it. Yeah, you're right. There is never enough of this kind of stuff available. There is one, I can't remember the name of it. I know I bought it and installed it. I haven't been to it yet. Ty recommended it. It's similar to that, but it's more the orchestral neck of the woods.
Okay.
Yeah. Whereas this is more, sort of like everyday usable.
Yeah.
If you just think, I need a percussion track, but I just want to get an idea of the flavour, boom, in you go.
Just to get the flavour, and then you can go in there and tweak it to exactly how you want it to fit into what you've written.
Yeah.
So
absolutely,
it's nice.
We like that. Yeah, we like that.
It seems to have that kind of human kind of element to it as well. It doesn't sound very, totally 808 precise. Sort of thing.
In that, in the swing thing as well, the swing option that was in the bottom right.
Yeah.
There's quite a few options within that. You've not just got the swing, you've got different types of groove and that can be applied.
Yeah.
For some reason, that's not showing up on the thing. As I'm hitting it, and the little menu's coming up. So you got swing 1, swing 2, triplet basic, jazz triplet, light groove, machine drum, push pull, shuffled and displaced.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then of course you've got the swing control to adjust the amount of swing you want to stick in.
So I mean, it's far from like a playback thing, isn't it? It's got so much potential of customizing it and creating your own. Very good.
That sounded a bit like the cricket.
It did.
People not from England. What is it? What is that? What's the name of the music of the test match? Is that Green Onions by Booker T and the MGs?
No, it's not Green Onions, is it?
No, it's not Green Onions.
No, that's not Green Onions. No, it's one. Oh, what is it? Somebody will tell us. Some cricket fan. We have this TV show here in the UK, or used to. I don't know if it's still on.
Pink Cabbage or something.
Yeah, and it was.
Oh, hang on, we've got a question here.
Oh, we've got a question. Stick that in the bucket. We'll come to that in a minute. Yeah, so swing. That definitely does sound. Why am I only getting one channel? Oh, that's why, because I've still got my transpose on. Here we go.
Oh, hello.
Distant whistle. Let's try a different swing. What should we do? Push pull. There we go. Quite like that, yeah. You can just get lost in that, can you?
Yeah.
Soul Limbo, thank you very much, Homegrown. So yeah, go and search out a track called Soul Limbo and you'll know what we're talking about. We get there in the end.
That's who the question was from, and it is related to this.
Go for it.
Homegrown says, can the different tracks be made the same duration while having a different number of subdivisions? Ooh.
Is that what this is? Here?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
These are your subdivisions here in this style. So this is 16 steps, but we can do that. I don't know what difference. Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
My God, we could answer a question. We know what we're talking about.
Well, I didn't think we could do that, but yeah.
Yeah, I think we may have answered the question. I'm sure Homegrown will tell us in the chat. Before I forget, though, whilst we're in that bucket, thank you, Too Many Knobs. I love that name. Thank you very much for your donation. It's much appreciated. Did that answer your question? Let us know in the chat. But if you want that, you can buy that from UVI right now. It is normally €149, but it's on offer for €99 for a fairly limited time. But go and fill your boots with that one.
Get the Sonic Pass.
Get the Sonic Pass, which is what, 20... I think it's €24, isn't it?
I think it's about £22, I think.
Yeah, which really is.
It's such good value for money. I know I say that they don't pay me for saying this. It's just I just think that everybody should have it. If you can afford it, get it. It's good.
What you also need to do, what you also need to do is buy a rather large SSD drive to get it onto, because there's a lot of stuff there. But you can pick and choose and then offload it, I suppose, and then just bring it back when you need it. But
it's great. It's really good.
Very good indeed. Right, there we go. So that's UVI Falcon. Sorry, not UVI Falcon. UVI Percussion Factory, which works on UVI Falcon, and of course UVI Workstation as well. You don't need Falcon to mess around with that. However, if you do have Falcon, of course, you can really then dig into messing around with the samples if you want to. So it's
well, that's it. Yeah, I will probably use this in that respect, where I might change the samples for more analog sounding things and that. But I didn't really want to mention that because I've got Falcon and you can't do that on the Workstation version. So
there really is no reason why you shouldn't own Falcon, because it is such an amazing instrument. It's so powerful, so powerful. Why that isn't as amazing.
It's actually in danger of becoming my new contact.
Yeah,
at the moment. There's been a lot of great things come out from UVI for it.
Yeah, and it's not just the sample libraries. I mean, they do these packs. They do packs that are just using these synthesis elements. But of course, you get in there and dig in and do stuff yourself, because it really is very. I think the reason I've always liked it is because the workflow is not the same as, but it is certainly inspired by the old Akai workflow. Of samples, programs, multis, and layering things. It kind of works with my head. I think that's why I kind of gelled with it quite quickly. So yeah, go for it. And big thanks to Taha over at UVI for looking after us with that, so that we could bring you the extended demonstration. Because I'm always conscious that we say in our titles, discussions, reviews, demos, and we don't often do many sort of demos like that. So yeah.
We'll try and do more, though.
We will definitely do more. Certainly, next week and the week after, we should be doing some.
We've got some belters coming, yeah.
Oh, have we? Yes. Have we indeed?
Misses.
Yes, yeah. Don't forget, make sure that you subscribe and hit that bell, because you don't want to miss the next 2 shows as we quickly approach even, our 3-year anniversary.
3 years? Is it?
In 5... Yeah, so we got 150. Episode 156 will be, I believe, our 3rd birthday.
Wow.
When did I join?
Just over a year ago. You joined at the beginning of 2022, didn't you?
I was going to say, 3 years went by quick.
You're getting
Yeah, was it
worried.
2020? Was it? Yeah.
Hang on a
Yeah, I
minute.
think it was that. So,
Yeah. It has gone quick, though.
it has. Yeah.
Mind you, so
It's
it's
fun.
this year so far.
Well, yes, quite.
March very soon.
I know.
Good God.
Mm.
It is scary. I mean, to go slightly off topic, I got this document from my my letting agent. The gave me 3 months notice to pack up and off, and it's just like, wow, 3 months, and that's going to be, it's like almost summer, and it just really does.
How long have you lived at that house, Robbie? Is it?
It will be 9 years in 2 weeks' time.
Wow.
9 years. And I've actually lived in this village for 17 years, which is the longest I've lived in one community ever.
Yeah.
In fact, before I moved here, I could actually average out a house move every 2.5 years, I think it was, from birth to the age of 36 or something like that. I moved every couple of years for one reason or another.
I think I moved 5 times in 4 years once.
Crazy. I hate it. I
God, you
absolutely
make me feel a
hate
right
it.
stick in the mud.
There's nothing more than I'd love to do is to settle down. The situation is that that's not going to happen. I'm not going to bore you with the details, but But I don't think after today's events, I don't think things are going to be quite as bad as I had feared. It's going to be stressful, but yeah.
Just make sure you get a nice big studio out of it. Be all right.
Oh, yeah. Well, I went to look at something today, and the main reason I picked this one out was because it had a large room. I say a large, a little bit larger than this, and full height ceilings, not this stupid bloody thing. I don't know what it's called, but it's the roof of the house that cuts in, so it means I can't put things up to the top.
Ah, right.
Yeah. So
I get you. Yeah.
You can see there's an angle there. You see.
Yeah.
So look at that, swinging boom shots and everything. Now, God,
Mind you,
Pro-
move is going to give you an opportunity to get rid of all the, the dead wood and all the
Yeah.
cobwebs.
wife,
everywhere.
kids.
FM synths and
All
stuff.
those FM synths for it.
Oh, don't worry. I had Matt Lewis pinging me earlier on saying, "Oh, look at it this way. At least you'll be able to offload that horrible DX7 to someone else." Anyway, right. Let's move on because we've only got just over half an hour left. Blimey, time is flying. There was. I wanted to leave this one till last, so let me just check. Oh, there was one more thing. Well, there's 2 more things. Let's do this very quick one. Not a lot to say about this because it's a teaser video, but it's out there and we ought to play it. because we love these guys and we can't wait to see what they're coming up with next. As he fluffs until he finds the right link. There it is. Let's put this into the main window and press the play button. Va.
I want my VST!
There you go.
Wow.
And that's it. As classic Cherry Audio teaser style, short and sweet. I thought he looked a little bit like Ben Stiller. I don't know who that is. I don't know if Cherry Robert is still in the chat. I'm not sure. He'll tell me anyway. It might be him. And it was all meant as a compliment. They often kind of make cryptic clues in their videos, and the only clue, other than, so obviously there's a synthesizer there, and I don't know how much we can draw from the synthesizer itself, because like everything apart from the keyboard was blanked out. There's obviously a shape there and stuff, but in the description it just says, if you're all alone, pick up the phone and be sure to mention code 41H. Now, I was with it for the first two parts of that, and they've lost me on that third part. I have no idea what they're talking about. Be sure to mention code 41H. Any ideas?
Yeah, there's something about that.
I have not.
If you're all alone, pick up the phone. Well, that's Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters was by Ray Parker Jr. Was Ray Parker Jr. associated with anything? What's 41 in hex? Hey Siri, what's 41 in hex?
Okay, I found this on the web for what's 41 in hex. Check it out.
Check it out.
Neil Sedaka is a singer from...
It's the beginning of the code number for the stylophone, isn't it?
I don't know. Yeah. Are we convincing?
No,
No, we're not.
no. they VST'd the viola. There you go.
There you go.
Work from
that's
there.
our prediction.
There is a clue in that as
Yeah.
well. Think viola.
I know there's lots of, obviously in the chat or the comments underneath here, there's lots of speculation. Lots of people thinking it's all sorts of different things. I have to say, one or two are very close. In fact,
Think of a broom with the head of Chevy Chase on it. There's a clue.
Oh.
It's not, but it'll keep them busy, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, interesting. Well, anyway, we will find out apparently on March 7th. So that's not next week, the week after. We'll find out. So stay tuned. You never know. Maybe they'll come on the show and tell us all about it.
Do we know what this is? And we're not allowed. Obviously, if we did know, we wouldn't be allowed to say.
Yeah.
But are we allowed? If we did know, are we allowed to say that we know?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if
That's a lot of no's.
I know. Yeah. I couldn't
I'd say
explain it
no.
right.
No.
Yeah.
No, if we said that we knew,
then they'd know that
Then-
we know.
they'd know we know,
Yeah.
and
I don't know
Then-
if I know.
But we
we'll
don't
just
know
get
if
a
we
lot of
know.
hate mail or 60 messages
Yeah.
saying, "Go on, tell us what it is then."
Oh yeah. I don't know what it is anyway, but I reckon it's going to be good.
I think it will be. They haven't done a bad thing yet, really. So we shall see. Cherry Audio, thank you very much for the teaser. I don't know whether there'll be anything else between now and March the 7th. But yeah. And that was March the 7th, by the way, because they used the American version of the date. So there's a lot of people saying, oh, it's 3rd of July. No, it's not. It's March the 7th. They did actually respond to that by putting new graphics up that actually said March 7th.
Or is it?
Anyway. So yeah, there we go. Cherry Audio got something new coming our way very soon, and you might just be able to hear about it in detail on this very show at some point.
And be excited.
Yeah. Right. Okay. And then the other thing. So we mentioned this last week, but Ben, bless him. I expected he might know a little bit more about this, and he didn't. But he does now, I think.
Do I?
I hope so. Let's play the
Yes, I
trailer
do.
video.
Yes, I
Let's
do.
play the trailer video, and then we'll all know what we're hopefully talking about. Everything that the new version of Helion 7 does in 60 seconds. Blooming great FM mode for a start. Right, there you go. Now you know, I think. So that's Helion 7. Now, before we go to Ben for a detailed insight
Yes.
into it, I want to point out one thing, mainly because we've just been talking about Falcon.
Yeah.
And I just want to... they've probably not got full screen thing going on here. What I wanted to say was, and Ben, I know that you've got both, but this struck me as very Falcon-like. Not
Yeah.
It feels like Helion. They've said, right, Helion is now going to be our Falcon competitor. We're going to have sample libraries, but it's got its own synthesis engines in there now, and because of the ties with Yamaha, there's the whole FM and the DX7 bits and bobs that's going on. Looks a very powerful piece of kit. Is it? And what do you think?
Well, yeah, you're right. It's kind of... It's one of these... most companies seem to have one, it's this all-in-one, do-everything synth that... and Helion was always a sampler, really. That's what it was. But now they've got these synth engines in there. There's a few. It's quite pigmenty in some ways. That you've got like wavetable and a virtual analog FM. You've got different synthesis methods that you can load in, as layers. Or then you could add a sample layer, so you could have samples with virtual analog or wavetable with FM. Well, you can mix and match how you want, bring your own samples into it. I think it's got some spectral audio technology in it now as well, which is that I've not seen that on. I'm not aware of that on anything else. You can decompose samples and kind of unmix. You might just want to pull certain frequencies out of something and do it that way, which is a lot easier with a spectrogram or whatever it's called of the sound than just a flat wave. So yeah, it's a massive update, and like you said, the connection with Yamaha. This is a fully modeled DX7 in this FM unit. It's you can use it in its own native FM mode or emulating a DX7, which from what I've heard in comparisons, it's stunning. It is near enough exactly the same. There's a little bit of maybe you'd call it slight distortion or aliasing or something on the original that isn't quite present in this, but I presume that's coming from the converters or what have you. It's not something that's coming from the program itself, because that'll be spot on with the Yamaha.
Yeah.
Obviously recreating
what I found interesting, obviously that was the thing that I kind of, oh look, it does FM, and it's got Yamaha involved, but it's got it's an 8 operator, so not 6 operator like the DX7. So therefore, it's actually got FMX algorithms in there.
Right.
So that's from Montage Mode EX as well as DX7 and TX81Z, because that implementation of the 4-op thing was probably the best 4-op out there. So yeah, it looks like a really comprehensive thing.
FM hasn't half made a comeback, hasn't it?
Just
Yeah, it's like you were holding some secret knowledge on us there, Rob. When you were going mad about it, nobody else give a flying crap.
I'd have gone long on the D. Yeah. No, I think. Well, I did manage to pick up a whole bunch of gear before it really got silly, stupidly expensive. But no, it's interesting. I like I like the fact that there's something else now that can give Falcon a run for its money. Maybe more and more people will sort of look at these like all-in-one, multifunctional synths.
Yeah, they said that they'd give it like a bold new look, and it looks exactly the same as the other one to me. Yeah. I can't see any difference at all. But yeah,
Kent, you're a big Cubase fan, so is Helion something you? Because obviously you like your contact libraries and all that sort of stuff, but is Helion in your toolkit?
Helion has been hanging around sort of like in the wings since, a long time ago, when it used to be 5 CDs, I think it was. And it's never really been a go-to instrument for me. Nothing reflected on Helion itself. It's just like it was never one of my go-tos. It wasn't on my go-to list.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know whether I would start using it now. Because I mean, like you say, I went UVI Falcon route because Richard Hilton said I had to, or he'd hurt me. and you don't argue with Richard, He stood within 2 feet of Elton John. You don't argue with people.
I know. I saw that the other day.
Yeah. So when he says, get Falcon or else, and I go, yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Well, he actually said, get Falcon or else, like that sort of thing. Flipping a coin in the corner. He'll kill me for this. He will.
He is
so
here, by the way.
I've always gone Contact or Falcon, and Helion's just never really been in my backyard. Besides, I'm not quite sure when I use something that has decomposing in it. It doesn't sound right. So it's. By all means, guys, go out and try it. But no, I don't think it's going to be my cup of tea.
Well, there is a trial version, so if you want to give it a go, you can. And there's a free version as well, which is obviously quite cut back, and you can't do a bunch of stuff. I mean, from like you, Helion was like, I've already got X and Y. I don't need that. So it never rose its head above the parapet and said, hey, look at me, I'm better than everything else. It just it seemed to me like a Cubase tool, and I didn't really once I'd left Cubase, I didn't really sort of go into. So I don't know,
it'd be interesting to see what you thought of that FM layer.
Yeah, I might give the trial version a go once I've got some time on my hands to do that and see. Not that I'm in any way the arbiter of quality when it comes to that, but some people were mentioning it in the chat. Is this as far as Yamaha are going to go in doing software instruments? Collaborating with obviously their stablemates at Steinberg, or are we going to see? Because if the FMX algorithms are now existing in Helion, well, there's no reason why they can't exist in a virtual Mode EX or a virtual Montage or something. There's no reason why they can't do their own versions of some of their classics. Not that we're short of those in any way, because there's plenty of DX7 things out there. I'd love to see them do something, do a virtual TX81Z, because they're really isn't anything. There are 4-operator synths out there, but there's not really anything that does a really good job of emulating that implementation of it. So yeah, it'd be nice to see, but I kind of think that Yamaha are saying maybe we're just above that and we'll just push it out through Steinberg, and who knows, maybe Steinberg will release that with involvement from Yamaha at some point. So yeah, there you go. So we've got about 20 minutes left. I thought we'd leave this one till last. Thank you, Ben, by the way, for your description, your detailed knowledge, expertise. Thanks for just downloading it and trying it. Yeah, all cool stuff. The last thing that I wanted to do, just to kind of wrap the show up on a lively note, shall we say, is one of my colleagues at Gear News posted an article the other day, and it was one of those things that I really, really hate. I hate top 10 lists.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're always the point of view of one person, and they're always completely subjective, and everyone has got their own top 10 list. And what invariably happens is said author posts a list of their top 10 synths, and then the world and their wife unload in the comments saying, oh, you missed out this and you missed out that. And of course this was no different to that. But yeah, they went through this list of the 10 best software synths of all time. I mean, not just in the last year or so, which might have been a little bit more objective, but of all time. So let's see what they thought the 10 best soft synths of all time. So it's not ranked in any particular order. These are just the 10. So starting off with Arturia Pigments, then UVI Diva, Serum, which I know has a lot of fans. This I thought was a bit of a cop-out. Complete 14, because that's everything.
Yeah.
There's loads of stuff. Just pick one. But no. Then we had Omnisphere 2, which I'm not at all surprised that was in there. Kilohertz Phase Plant, which I thought was an interesting addition. Plug-in Alliance's DS Audio Thorn. Sugarbytes Apparillo. Newfangled Audio Generate. And we got a little bit excited about Generate. Do you remember? It was about a year or two ago, wasn't it? It was quite there was a pendulum one as well, wasn't there?
Yeah.
All using kind of chaos oscillators and stuff. Vital Audio Vital. One of the best free software synths, according to this author. So there you go. That was and I thought, there's a huge amount of notable omissions that I would have thrown in there. Like, for example, Falcon. I would have put Falcon in there as well. But I just wondered.
There's no emulations in there, is there? It's all original stuff.
Well, to the point. I mean, Complete will have a bunch of stuff in there, and Omnisphere will have a whole bunch of things that were, emulating something else. Diva, for reasons best left unsaid, I'm not a huge Diva fan, or UVI fan, should I say. I thought Pigments deserved its mention in there, but no GeForce software in there. No Cherry Audio in there, because I mean they've made some. But
is this because he's not gone for emulations? Because I know Cherry Audio's had a couple of original things, but I think all GeForce's stuff is an emulation, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So maybe that's the thinking behind it, but
but I mean, I guess we all have our favourites. We pick one and we think, oh yeah, that's great. I mean, I guess they probably picked UVI Diva as opposed to what's the one that everybody gets excited about from UVI?
Zebra.
Zebra. That's it. Zebra. And there's Repro 5, which obviously is a profit fund. But Zebra wasn't in it. And like everybody goes on about Zebra being.
Yeah, but you see, if you're dancey, for want of a better terminology, Diva. If you're into doing sort of like the boring melodic stuff that I do, then the Zebra.
Yeah.
So you can have a great plug-in, but it depends on what type of music you're doing. You know, what roads you're going down. So I don't have a favourite plugin. My favourite plugin is the plugin that's doing the most for me during the composition I'm working on.
Yeah.
You know, and if I keep returning to it, then it kind of becomes a favourite.
Yeah.
But you know, like you say, you know, I hate these top 10 lists. In fact, it comes about 7th on my top 10 pet hates.
Oh, clever man! See what you did there. See what you did there.
You know,
Yeah. Rich Hilton says as well that at Hive 2, that's another UHE thing.
Hive,
isn't it?
yeah,
And that's very popular as well.
Yeah, there is. There's a
See,
lot of that.
there isn't a good plugin, there isn't a bad plugin. There's the plugin you're using at the moment.
The one that
Yeah.
works for you.
Yeah, the one that's tickling the testes.
Yeah.
That's
I thought
that's your favourite one.
Silent, or is it Silent One? Because that you always hear people banging on about that as being an all-time classic. I'm just sort of going through some of the comments, but I mean, like you say, it is what you're using at the time. Does it work for you? Great, then. But of all time, I think is the thing that got me thinking. Well, have there been better plugins?
Plugins are weird, aren't they? Because the old ones tend to not be as good. Because you could spot a VST a mile off, I think, in the early days.
Oh,
And now it's very hard now to spot them. Things like Waldorf Attack, that was great.
Yeah.
That's a drum thing, like.
Yeah,
But that was really good.
Yeah, I've got that somewhere because I bought the suite thing that they did.
I used to love that because I
yeah,
could
that
get
was-
the drum sound I wanted with that. I've not been able to get it since.
And like Thor in Reason, which did they release that as a VST as well, or was that Europa? I think it might have been Europa. But even the Reason instruments, they were the ones that I spent a huge amount of time with for many years. There's some really, like Maelstrom, the granular synth. I mean,
that's quite good. Yeah.
People going about granular nowadays. Reason was doing it. God knows how many 20 years ago. No, it might have been 20 years ago.
Yeah,
'cause,
probably.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I used
there's
to
some
like the
great
Hollow Sun stuff.
Oh yeah, but most of that was all was sample based.
Admittedly, yeah, but sort of like
But
it's like everything else. It's
Be back
everybody
in a sec.
has their own favourites, and
Yeah.
doing a favourite list is literally an opportunity to have somebody punch you in the face. It really is.
Yeah.
Because I can pick 10, and I'll have half the people in the chat going, "What an idiot."
Well, we
Mind
did
you, they
that.
do that anyway. Well, the other half
well,
do.
yeah.
But yeah, you couldn't. I mean, every single person in the chat will come up with their top 10s, and you may have crossovers. Certainly, that
Yeah.
Venn diagram may have that little grey bit in the middle, but
Yeah.
it's a pointless endeavour.
Yeah,
honestly.
I was wondering if maybe if we did a poll, if there could be one synth that could be considered, as Kel was about to say, as Ken Lewis has just said in the chat, the GOAT, the greatest of all time, one software synth that we could all agree on, to say, yeah, do you know what? That is, I might not use it on everything, but I know that when I use it, I'm always going to get what I want, and it ticks all the boxes.
Probably you'd have to. I mean, a very, very strong contender would have to be Omnisphere.
Omnisphere, I think, yeah, that's the one. I
Simply
think.
because of the bulk. Although there again, in many respects, that is also a sample play,
Yes,
isn't it? So
it is. Yeah,
I mean, if you were talking about a purely, number-generated sound system, I don't know. I have no idea. I really, really couldn't say. I have the ones that I love. You have the ones you love.
yeah.
So,
I love
OBE
you, love me,
a lot.
love.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I love my OBE.
Yeah.
It's one of those plugins where you play it and then you go, "This is FM." What?
yeah.
I didn't know FM could sound like this. I had a whole new respect for FM after playing OBE. I really did. Because this isn't a doorbell at all. What's going on?
Yeah, no, Ben, if you could think of like the one synth to rule, the one plug-in synth to rule them all, that you think maybe everybody could agree on. Kent's offered Omnisphere, so you can't have that one.
Sorry, Ben.
He got in first.
What do I use a lot?
Omnisphere 2.
I do use that a lot.
Although technically it's Omnisphere as well. But
Yes.
Yeah. I think it would be Omnisphere for me as well. I know that's... But Pigments is pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pigments
that gets a lot of love.
is very, very powerful. Once some of the presets are good, but when you start seeing somebody who knows what they're doing with it, it's like I could only dream of getting those kind of results myself because I haven't got the time to dedicate to making the sounds. But it is capable of some incredible things like that. So I'll go with that. I'll think of one that I use all the time as soon as we go off air, and I'll be like,
well, I've just literally fired up Logic so I can go through. Alchemy was always a very good one, wasn't it? Until to much some people's dismay, it got eaten up by Apple, but obviously it's available in Logic. But yeah, I mean, I was thinking, what else?
I like Signs.
Yeah, Cherry Oil Signs.
I like Signs. I found that to be very, very nice.
Yeah.
it is a good one, that.
Yeah, especially when you're trying to write something, but you haven't got a clue what it is you're going to write.
Yeah.
Something like that where it can be, very eclectic and all over the place, So I'm just having a look now.
A lot of people saying Absinthe in the chat. Of course, that's now gone.
Yeah.
But that was a pretty powerful thing.
I have to say Equator because I'm a Roland user.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I think
I can't
Falcon.
think what I use.
Yeah, I mean, Falcon for me is like if somebody put a gun to my head and said you can only take one synthesizer plug-in with you to make music for the rest of your life, for me it would have to be Falcon because I know I would not be able to go wrong. I'd have everything I could possibly want from one thing.
I've got to agree with that. I think like Falcon, especially with that. Again, I'm off again, but the Sonic Pass thing, you just got access to everything. It's like I haven't even gone through all the sounds that I've got in that. Yeah, I can't. It's just like fall asleep. Like
I think
Surge XT is another good one. And that's
if
free.
you're talking Desert Island plugin, then I mean, just because of who I am, it's going to have to be Arturia's CS80 version 4.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I've got to have my bit of 80 with me, and
yeah.
To me, that one's it's the closest yet. So, so that.
Yeah.
But I'm too much of a whore. I want to take all of them with me.
You could say something like Plugin Guru's Unify, because then you'd be able to have all the other plugins that it uses to make it sounds, because it uses lots of free plugins and stuff. And because Unify, I really fell for that. I was completely not unaware of it. I was unaware of how much fun it was to have something that you could consolidate all this stuff in and layer it up and that. But that's that's cheating, I think.
Well, you could take a Analog Lab 5 with you.
Complete fool.
Oh yeah, you could do that.
You get like everything.
Yeah, the whole lot.
Yeah.
I'll have the lot. Like, thank you.
It's a difficult one, but like I said, I think Kent's like knocked it on the head there really, and just said, the one that's doing it for you right now is the greatest one of all time, and it will always change, and there'll never be.
Well, when Omnisphere 3 hits,
well, yeah,
then
maybe I'll get it then. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
think
think
it's got MPE support.
It must be doing something. I just need to say thank you to our friend who was a guest just last week, BG Ollie, our friend Ollie over there in Ireland. Thank you ever so much for your donation. It's much appreciated. Thank you for that. Answers on a postcard. What's your favourite top 10? I wonder if we could find one that everybody could agree on. That would be interesting.
Yeah,
I doubt it. But it'd be fun. It could get nasty, but it could be fun. But hopefully, all the people that are talking in the chat room, recommending what they think, might open the eyes of others who haven't come across those, and you might find something in there that you enjoy.
I thought we could maybe create a thread about this in the group, because if we can, as a group, come up with the 10 best software synths of all time, it's a little bit more relevant, because it's not just one person's opinion, it's the group's opinion.
Voted for by the public. Yeah. Everyone likes things that are voted for by the public.
If we did like a poll or something, and then like by the time next week's show comes, if we've got the top 10 there, just
yeah. But you see, people generally are morons. This is how Brexit came about. It's probably not a good idea.
Let's give people a choice. Yeah.
Generally, individuals are intelligent and people are morons.
But I would like to think that the vast majority, if not the entire collection of our audience, kind of know what they're talking about.
Yeah, they're into synths.
Like to think so.
Of course they do.
Well,
of course they do.
Yeah, up to a point. I'll give you that.
Yeah. Wagyu saying no OPS 7 for Robbie. I mean, look, OPS 7 is the greatest, in my opinion, the greatest FM plug-in, that's based on the Yamaha paradigm.
Have you seen that comment from Cherry Robert? Sorry.
Anyone hurry? Very good.
Sorry, I interrupted.
Yeah, no. I love OPS 7, but I one can't dine out on the same thing all the time. One must have variety.
Oh,
so
yeah, they all play to their own strengths.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yes, well, that's it. When you're working on a piece of music, you mix and match as much as you can, don't you? You want those variations in tone and what have you.
And it would probably, I reckon, if you did that top 10 list today, and then went back in a few weeks' time, that top 10 list, your own top 10 list, would have changed because of something you've just done or wanted to do.
Yeah.
There you go. So if you want to check that out, it is on gearnews.com. It is... sorry, I've now got Logic in the way. Go away, horrible thing. There we go. So there it is. It's on gearnews.com, and it's the top 10 best software synth of all time. Please do, if you want to comment on there, feel free. It's not my article. I don't care.
I skip. I don't fancy getting banned.
Yeah. Do we ban people? I don't think we do. I don't know.
Anyway, I went on that.
Great website, Gear News, of course, where I get all my news from, because I write some of it. There's been some juicy things. I've been really busy this week, so some good things coming up soon. That kind of brings us to the end of the show. It's just creeping up to 9 p.m. here in the UK. Gentlemen, thank you for your input as always, and thank you to everyone in the chat, wherever you are, wherever you may be. We thank you for participating and for your donations and for your questions. And all I can say next week is we've got guests, and you'll be able to find out who those guests are. You'll find out as soon as we're able to tell you, and that will be at some point next week. I was almost going to say the day. I don't want to do that. It's going to be at some point next week. If you subscribe to the channel and then hit that bell to get notifications, as soon as we announce that, you'll get it. If you sign up to our Facebook group, please do. The more the merrier. All you got to do is just click, find the ProSynth Network show, hit the join button. And there are two pages for the ProSynth Network. There's the ProSynth Network, like this, and then there's the ProSynth Network show, which is simply where we broadcast the show. So come to the other one, just the ProSynth Network group, and then hit the join button. And all you got to do is just answer 2 or 3 questions that prove that you're a human. There's 3 questions actually, so I want to make that clear. And also, if you invite anybody to join the group, let them know you've invited them. Otherwise, they just sit there and they don't know, or they're ignoring it. They don't answer the questions, and then therefore we have to say, well, I'm sorry until you answer the questions. You're not coming. Your name's not on the list. You're not coming in. So do come and join us over there. And and join in the fun. And of course, you'll also find out who our special guests are next week on a particular day next week when we're allowed to talk about it. But please do join us. You will love that. One of them's been on before, and every time they come on, everybody gets excited and everybody has a good time. So there you go. Stop talking, Puricelli.
Yeah.
The following week, again, don't really want to spoil the surprise, but we've got some other people, not just one. We have at least 2 people connected, by the way, Siamese twins. They will be coming on to tell us about something else that they know. So again, sign up, subscribe, join the Facebook page, and all will be revealed. No. We've got lots of good stuff coming up. So there you go. Ben, are you back on the road again?
I think not this weekend. The weekend after, I think things return to chaos, but we've blown the PA up, so we've got to get that repaired as well first. So.
All right, yeah, slightly essential.
Yeah,
cool stuff. Are we ever going to get to hear what you've been doing in the studio?
Yeah, I think so. Usually what I do is I get like 3/4 of the way through a song or a tune, and then I think, right, I'll put that on the back burner now and come back to that one. And once you do that, you never load it up again. It's like you just discover it again like 10 years later and think, oh, I should have done something with this. It's really good. But this time I've been persevering, and I've got like 3, maybe 4 tracks that I've been working on, and I'm quite happy with them as well. So that's a new thing for me as well. I'm actually quite proud of these, so I might like delete everything off my SoundCloud and put just these 4 tracks up. See how it goes.
Good stuff. Excellent. Kent, obviously, officially now the repair service facility for Soma in the UK. Yeah, good stuff. Anything interesting in the workshop at the moment, or is it just the same old, same old?
Jeff Beck's tape echo.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm not allowed to clean the front panel because he has it on one setting.
Okay.
Never deviates. So it's looking lovely and clean, apart from the front panel.
Of course.
What else is in there? There's some. I started getting that Maplin 3800 up and kicking.
Oh yeah.
Got 3 VCOs working, which is good because it's only got 3 VCOs. And filters working now, ADSR's working, keyboard's not working. That could be a problem. So I'm glad to see that thing starting to make noise, other than the crackling noise that things make when they're on fire. So looking good, going good.
Good, excellent. How many GS1s do you currently have?
Currently 2.
Still got the 2.
Yeah, and a DX1.
And the DX1. What more do you need?
And a CSA.
And a CSA. Lovely stuff.
And I'm living in the garden.
Well, yeah, it's getting warmer, so
yeah,
not much. But, I've got to go out in it in a minute anyway. Good stuff. I'll tell you what I'm doing from now on. I'm packing everything up. I'm dismantling. Tomorrow is going to be the first big dismantling day. Everything that's got boxes is going back in boxes, and I have no idea. I know what I'm going to do. Things are going to go into storage, I think, for a little while until we get sorted. I don't want removals men and women or whoever might turn up handling very expensive, delicate.
Have you got
something I have been doing?
Things?
I'll tell you something I have been doing. I've been looking into online jam synchronization hardware.
Okay.
And teeing. It seems to be a very confusing field. It looks like you have to buy the unit, cross your fingers, and see how it works. So I may be going down that road.
Oh.
Try out one and see how it works out.
President Hilton has spoken.
Yeah, I was looking at that one. I've forgotten the bloody name of it already, but the one that Gaz
was
reviewed. There was that one as well. That has mixed. They all have mixed reviews. So the reviews don't really tell you anything you really need to know.
True. Yeah. You really do
Because
need to.
people love it, people hate it, and all the rest of
Yeah.
it. And and it worked beautifully. Yeah, mate, but the bloke lives next door to you.
Yes.
You know, that kind of. Do you know
You're
what I mean?
sharing the same network.
Yeah. Yeah. The bloke in Alaska, not so good. You know, that kind of thing. So, yeah, I'm going to have to get one of these units and review the crap out of it, basically, and see what happens.
Be interesting. Interesting to see. Cool stuff. So there you go. That's going to be what we're doing for the next 7 days. Whatever you guys are doing in the chat, I hope you do some fun stuff and have a lot of good times. Don't forget, Rands is back tomorrow with a show that features oscillators. He did filters last week. I think he's kind of focusing on oscillators tomorrow. So that's from 1 p.m. UK time. He usually starts a little bit early, but 1 p.m. UK time for that. And then Jamie's got Tim Grogan on as a guest on Sunday, 7 p.m. So make sure you're around for that. We'll be back same time, same place next week with a very special guest and something very special for them to show us all. But until then, have a fantastic weekend, everyone. Enjoy whatever it is that you're doing. Think of me packing boxes and breaking my back. And we will see you next week. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Oh, yeah. Bye.
Take care.